Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So the title of the video is not clickbait for you or anything. Today I am actually selling the Tundra here. So I'm only uploading this video if it went through, of course. But so we have a gentleman down in California. He is coming up. I'm meeting him a little bit south his direction, but he's coming up today to purchase my Tundra from me. And before the barrage of questions come in and the millions of dislikes on this video, I figured, give me just a couple minutes and kind of explain why I decided to do this. And it's not for any fault of the Tundra. We love this thing, and I made that very clear in a million videos. It is, no kidding, the perfect truck for a family too, which begs the question, well, why the heck am I not selling the Tacoma instead? So I'll get to that. So my wife and I, as you guys know, we are moving out to Virginia in July, and we've been looking at houses, and I guess only the people who have been searching for a home right now might be able to understand where I'm coming from. But if you're not looking for a home and you're not searching to buy a house right now, some of this it might fall on deaf ears. But we've been searching for a house. We decided to start looking early, July, probably June is when we're actually going to head out that direction. But we've been looking, and we've been looking for the last month or so. We put 6 offers in, 6, and 2 of the 6 were, one was $25,000 over asking price, and the other one was $26,000 over asking price on 2 of the homes that we really, really loved. And we didn't get any of them. So all the others, we offered asking price for it, and we didn't get any. And you know how I feel about markups. But here I'm paying quote unquote markups on houses, which is crazy to even say that out loud. And I don't think it's strictly to Virginia. I think it's a nationwide thing. I mean, due to the pandemic, there's the supply and demand is just not there. I'm not going to try to pretend to be a wicked smat on all the real estate game right now, but bottom line, it comes down to supply and demand. There's very few houses on the market, at least right now, and within the last month or so. Very few, but there's a whole lot of people trying to buy a house, trying to move, with interest rates extremely low, like record lows within the last few months here. So we're talking, I think it got down to 2.1 or 2.2, I think back in December timeframe, and it's been progressively going up since. So we wanted to capitalize on the low interest rates too. We're able to get 2.75 on the house we got, and I guess I kind of got ahead of myself right there. We ended up buying a house. So we came to an agreement. We got paperwork signed. We're under contract now, but we had to do something that we weren't hoping to do, and that is we kind of upped our budget a little bit. So the houses that we were looking at, I won't talk numbers for the homes, but the homes that we were primarily looking at was within the price range most people were looking at. It's kind of like a normal price range for a house out in Virginia, which is still a ton right now with the inflation going on. But we ended up offering on a house a little bit outside of our price range, above it. So above it, we changed our tactic up. Instead of trying to compete with people and losing out with people paying 50 to 60, 80 grand more than asking price, rather than losing out, we decided up our bracket quite a bit with our search. We're finding houses a few $100,000 more than what we had been looking at, and we offered less, significantly less. We still offered $115,000 less on the one that we ended up getting, and they agreed to it. So we're super happy with the home, but it is above what we wanted to pay. So because of that, puppy feature. Hey buddy, hi bud. So because of that, one more. Got the whole herd. But because of that, it required a larger down payment on the house. Quite a bit more, admittedly. So we could have done it. We could have still made it work while keeping the trifecta here fully. But we would have been, I don't know, it would have been we would have been suffocated a little bit, when it came to all the closing costs. I mean, the closing costs alone, I'll give you this bit, the closing costs alone are $27,000 with everything. In today's market, you got to waive appraisals, you got to waive inspections, and you pay all of closing, being the buyer, blah, blah, blah. So again, only the folks who are looking for a house right now have been searching or making offers. You understand where I'm coming from. But especially out there in that Virginia market, Northern Virginia, it is super competitive right now, and it sucks. But we're extremely happy with the house we got. It's more house than what we need, admittedly, but we're super excited about it. It's super nice. So of course you'll see that here in a bit, but it does require us to let go of one of these. And really it kind of came down to these two here. We need an SUV when we make the trip over, for sure, because we need to put the dogs, round them up in the back. So we at least need the SUV, but admittedly, more importantly, we don't have the title yet to the 4Runner here, so we're still waiting for that. The DMV's backed up, I think 16 or 17 weeks, they say. So we're still waiting on that one after all this time. But these two, we had the titles to, so it really kind of came down to which one of these. And it ended up being the Tundra for a couple of reasons. And if you can believe this, even my wife, I asked her, because I was like, well, the Tundra makes a lot more sense to keep. It's bigger, it's way more spacious, fits the family well. It's the last of the Tundra, the last of this generation Tundra, right? Last of the V8 potentially is what we're thinking. It just makes more sense to keep that over the Tacoma. However, but for those reasons, and the fact that it's a 2021, 5,000 miles on it, Lunar Rock, it made for an easy sale, and I posted it, and here we are really just a few days later, I think 4 or 5 days later, and I had 2 people really interested, and this gentleman is, he's offering my asking price for it. So, and he's coming up from California. So, and he doesn't know I have a channel or anything, I don't think. But anyways, so I posted it. I posted for exactly, well, I give myself some wiggle room. So I always post any kind of ad, a couple $1,000s more than what I'm willing to take. And I always negotiate down, because I hate dealing with stiflers who are like, nope, this is my price, firm, So I always leave a little bit of wiggle room, to make both the buyer feel good about it too, and myself. So I left, it was $2,000 more than what I was willing to take, and I posted for $61,500. So I paid, you guys know, $54,500 for it. Flew out to North Dakota, so after, plane ticket and driving back, we're looking at like 55-ish, right, in hotel. So 55, and with all the goodies, the Nitto Ridge grapplers, the go-around and running boards, the Line X covered backflip MX4 in the back, the AJT design bits, tinted windows. I think I'm maybe missing 1 or 2 more things. The center console charger, blah, blah, blah. I think altogether, I think it's right around $4,000 with everything, addition to it. So altogether, I'm about 59 into it. And that's what I left myself wiggle room for. I know they're pretty, they're hard to come by, this color. People are kind of fighting, wrestling for them. I'm in Washington. Admittedly, I took that into consideration. I mean, people are, a little more quick to open up the pocketbook if around here, but at the same time I didn't want to feel ugly about it, so I didn't want to put it up super expensive. I purposely don't talk about it with you guys on the channel, because whenever you talk numbers, everybody has an opinion. Everyone has an opinion. Oh wait, that's a terrible deal. Wait, you gripe about markups, but then you post it for that, so I expect that kind of stuff from you. So I purposely don't talk about it with you guys on here. But he ended up reaching out saying, no, it looks great. I mean, we've been looking forever. Every dealership down here in California is asking 10 grand or more over, if you can even find one. And we're just not willing to do that. And yours, you already have all the things that my dad would want to do to it. So they're buying it. The dad is buying it, but I was working with their kids, or, their adult kids, children, but they're coming up later today. So $61,500 is what I'm selling it for. Realistically it puts me quote unquote ahead, maybe just a couple thousand, but I'm not complaining. I mean, who can buy a vehicle, drive it for 5,000 miles, almost 6,000 now, and then sell it for even a little bit more of a profit, right? So you cannot do that with any other vehicle. So that's full transparency. I'll do a follow-up video for fun, just kind of show you the numbers and how it worked out. Of course, I got all the purchase paperwork for this, but I don't know. So that's what's happening today, guys. So I was kind of dreading making this video, because I know a lot of you guys are quick to beat me up whenever I do these, whenever I sell or trade in something, especially vehicles that, we all collectively love. And you're like, how could you love it if you're willing to sell it so quick, right? But it's just the best thing to do for the family. We're able to get into a beautiful home and be comfortable financially for it. So that's what's happening. That's what's happening today. Again, if you're seeing this video, it did in fact go through. But yeah, so the Tacoma, and why, I guess an important piece to add is, as I was telling my wife, yes, let's sell the Tundra. Or no, sorry. Well, I was telling my wife I should probably sell this over the Tundra, because the Tundra makes more sense, right? She really disagreed with me. she thinks that and she knows, I mean, she knows me better than me, and she knows that I absolutely love this, even by comparison. Just how special it is. There's a little bit of a story to it, of course, getting our dog back. The fact that it has already, the Icon Stage 9 lift kit, RSG sliders, everything is perfect on this. Could I replicate this pretty easily? No, not anymore, right? But I mean, you could get this truck and just really put tires, the running boards, and a tonneau cover, then you're kind of done, and tint, right? Whereas this took a little bit more elbow grease to make this all come together in perfect fashion, and being cement gray, limited to 2017 model year only for the TRD Pro, made it extra special. And she knows, she sees me, she knows how excited I am about this, even by comparison to the Tundra, admittedly. So it doesn't make sense when it comes to the family. That's the only piece that I guess I'm gonna kick myself about. I'm sure I'm gonna regret getting rid of this, as I'm positive. I mean, the value of this will continue to be extremely high. This 5.7 liter V8, this platform, the simplicity of it in and out is going to remain valuable. I'm confident in saying that. Especially with, you got COVID money out there right now. I shouldn't call it that, but everything's kind of inflated right now, and I think it will continue to be for at least a couple of years here. But at any rate, we're keeping the Tacoma. And another point my wife made was, working out there and in the DC area out there, it'll make more sense driving this around. A little bit better fuel economy, not a ton better if we're being totally honest, but better fuel economy. The whole larger tire setup and everything, the lift kind of brings it down a little bit, the fuel economy. But it is better, easier to park too. I mean, it's a smaller rig, kind of by a long shot between the two of them. And I think will make for better daily driving. And then this here can continue to be the quote-unquote family mobile until we upgrade it to the Sequoia TRD Pro or even the Land Cruiser down the road. But we want to get our bank account a little bit more inflated before we start getting too bold with upgrading this. So that's why we're doing it. We're going into it, getting a new house. We don't want to be eating ramen from day one in this beautiful house that we're getting. So of course, some more to follow. You're going to see it, and for you fellow dads out there, hopefully this move will kind of make sense to you guys. And again, if you guys are looking at the market at all right now for houses, it's competitive, and we're able to get a beautiful house and get it for much lower than their asking price just by upping our bracket a little bit. But so anyways, guys, I expect you to beat me up. We'll do kind of one final look at the Tundra here, and as it is my farewell tribute, if you will. But making the move over to Virginia will be easier too, of course, because we'll have two vehicles now instead of three, which would have required me to buy another trailer, flatbed trailer, if you remember what I did for the Shelby, to actually transport it across the nation. So that would have been a little bit more burdensome. So that's another piece of the equation too to consider. We'll look inside. So the final shot here. I don't know, maybe a part of me was hoping that it wouldn't have sold, and then it would have justified me maybe putting up the Tacoma instead. I don't know. I didn't really know what I hoped for, so I posted it. And like I said, really within a few days here, I had a couple people email me about it, and this guy is super serious. He emailed me about it yesterday, and well, he's driving up from Colorado with a rental car with his dad to get it today. And this is going to be what I absolutely miss. And you're going to hear me meow about this probably for future months, but it's my own fault for getting rid of this, so nobody to blame but myself here when I miss it. But as you guys know, at this point, I am definitely not the type to get attached to things. I love vehicles, and I guess you can maybe pick apart my use of that word love, but I do love vehicles. Obviously, it's a huge passion of mine. Obviously, at this point, if you guys have been following my channel, but they are just things at the end of the day. I mean, a home and the people that you share it with is far more important than these things. And at the end of the day, too, we only need, quote unquote, need 2 vehicles. So we're coming down in vehicle count, but we're up in the living situation quite a bit, and perhaps, you know, with time we'll maybe adventure and try to get, you know, an FJ Cruiser and other trail teams down the road. But of course, we want to put ourselves in a good position financially before we start getting too sporty with it. So again, I'm expecting you guys to totally beat me up, and that's okay. I think I'd beat me up too at this point, especially for being a repetitious move here. But that's it. And maybe a handful of you. I know a handful of you really like the Tacoma here, so perhaps some of you will appreciate me keeping this over the Tundra. You know, I mean, and the final note I'll make on the Tacoma is I would have felt extra guilty trying to sell this for, you know, $50,000. You know, and you guys know I paid 46-ish after everything's said and done for this one. And I would have posted it for about 50 and maybe taken, you know, 48, 47. That would have been my goal here with this. And I think I would have felt more guilty trying to sell this one, because on paper, I mean, it's 4 years old, and on paper you can get a 2021 for 45, 46 probably with discounts, as you see me post to my Instagram. So it just made more sense to try to push that one as well. I feel less guilty about selling that one at the end of the day. Anyways, I've made this too long of a video. I appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully, again, hopefully not too many of you beat me up too hard for this one. But appreciate you watching as always. Until next time. Hey, buddy.